Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hakim bin Muhammad Jais, and now I will talk about the introduction accounting fraud. Accounting fraud is the international and calculate falsification of financial document belonging to the organization. It involves deliberate effort to mispresent organization actual financial performance, profitability, or position rather than just inadvertent mistake or misunderstanding. This fraud conduct involves overstating revenue, understating expenses, concealing debts, and fabricating financial documents. Accounting fraud is generally motivated by the financial gain, bonus, fulfilling target, and keeping employment or reputation. This had some serious effects, including loss of confidence, legal ramifications, and financial loss and reputational harm, shareholder lawsuit, and regulatory parties. The tone at the top includes the moral compass and ethical standard set by the top leadership of an organization. It serves as guiding light, shaping the conduct and decision-making process of employee at all levels. In essence, it set the precedent for organizational behavior and integrity. In the case of Satyam, the chairman and the top management were complicit in orchestrating a scheme of accounting fraud which involving falsifying financial records and misrepresenting the company performance. The action set a detrimental example, signaling to employee that deception and manipulation were acceptable means to end in. So, this set a pure example and enable a culture of unethical practice for to permeate throughout the organization. Asymmetry information is a phenomenon where one party in a transaction possesses more or superior knowledge compared to the other party. This information asymmetry creates an imbalance in power and can lead to the adverse outcome, especially when crucial information is withheld or misrepresented. In the Satyam case, information that was not fully disclosed to shareholder and other stakeholders was accessible to the company management, creating an asymmetry of information that made the fraud possible happen, and this will make investors suffer financial losses due to the misinformation and deception. So, MSTRI information foster an environment ripe for unethical behavior and undermine trust in the corporate governance. In accordance with agency theory, the board of directors is in charge of supervising the management team and guaranteeing that the business activity are in line with the interest of its investor. The Satyam case showed that insufficient independent supervision by the board allowed fraudulent activity to persist unchecked, and this will lead to the failure to fulfill responsibility, can lead to severe consequences for stakeholder and the company reputation.
Hello and Assalamualaikum Sir Azam. My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Zahid and I will explain the next part, human personal interest. According to agency theory, human personal interest is the individual are motivated by self-interest and seeks to maximize their own interest. This assumption of self-interest can lead to the conflict between the principal, the shareholder, and the agent management, as the agent may pursue objectives that differ from interests of the principal. The Satyam case demonstrates how the founder and the chairman of the business prioritize their own personal gains over the interests of shareholder and other stakeholders. The lack of ethical behavior and transparency was the direct result of the management prioritization of their own interests over their fiduciary duties. The chairman and the top management engaged in massive accounting fraud to inflate the company's financial performance, likely to maintain their own position, reputation, and their worth. This self-interest behavior, as described in the agency theory, enabled the Satyam leadership to make decisions that benefit them personally at the expenses of the company and its stakeholders. The next one is the fiduciary duty. We can describe it as duty of loyalty. It means any decision making within company should act in interest of company, not in their own interest. In the Satyam case, the board of directors failed to fulfill their fiduciary duty. The board of directors failed to fulfill this duty and failed to prevent the accounting fraud was a major breach of their responsibility. They did not provide the adequate oversight and allowed the chairman and management to perpetrate the accounting fraud, which ultimately led to the collapse of the company and significant loss for the shareholder.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Andi Aiman bin Andi Anwar. So I will be covering the topic regarding fraud cases that happened in Satyam Computer Service Limited India. As we know, fraud is defined as a deception or misinterpretation of individual or entity makes, knowing that misinterpretation could result in some unauthorized benefit to the individual or to the entity or some other party. In the Satyam Computer Service Limited India fraud case, the individual or the entity is none other than the founder and the chairman, that is Mr. Ramalinga Raju. The company was recognized and acknowledged as a rising star for being the first business in India to enter the stock exchange market and acquired many prestigious recognition awards. However, all of the achievement and success of Satyam Computer Service Limited has a dark scheme. Mr. Ramalinga Raju fraudulent framework involved a systematic manipulation of financial records, creation of fictitious assets, and misuse of technology, and a failed attempt to cover up the fraudulent activities, ultimately leading to the exposure of one of the largest corporate frauds. The fraud started in 1999 when Satyam started growing by double digits every year. The deception went unnoticed for a number of years until 2008 collapses of the Hyderabad real estate market, which prompted Raju to confess it in January 2009. So, I will be explaining about the most notorious corporate scandal in history on regarding the how, what, when, and where it happened. This scandal orchestrated by Ramalinga Raju sent shockwave through the corporate world and left an indelible mark on the landscape of corporate governance. Who was the elaborate scheme? There is no other than the CEO, Mr. Ramalinga Raju. The former chairman of Satyam masterminded a systematic campaign of falsification within the company financial statement. What is his aim? To present a vastly inflated picture of Satyam financial health and performance. Raju manipulation tactics was so effective that Satyam even received the Golden Peacock Award for the best governed company in September 2008. And what were the key elements of this fraud? Raju confessed to inflating Satyam asset by staggering 7,800 rupee crores and exaggerating revenues by 5,440 rupee crores. He also falsified liabilities, misreported employee numbers, and fabricated interest earnings, all in a bid to mislead stakeholders and investors about Satyam through financial standing. However, all of this financial misinterpretation not only made by Mr. Satyam himself but also his own brother, that is the chairman financial officer. So, when did the fraud unravel? The scheme began to unravel in December 2008 when Raju audacious attempt to acquire two Mitas firm fell through, triggering a 55% plunge in Satyam share value. An anonymous whistleblower then exposed the fraud to further investigation, and Raju eventual confession on January 7, 2009 to admitting that he is in the wrong place of committing the fraud. However, the Satyam fraud did not unfold in isolation. It was facilitated by the incompetence of auditors from PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is one of the big four audit company, who failed to conduct through checks and overlooked glaring discrepancy in Satyam financial statements. This led to heavy criticism towards PwC, raising suspicions of potential complicity in the scam. Despite the auditor oversight, the fraud was ultimately exposed by Merrill Lynch, an American multinational investment bank, which detected irregularities and sounded the alarm. The fallout from the scandal was immense, with legal proceedings ongoing in both US and India, and numerous individuals implicated including Raju, his brother the CFO, some employees in the Satyam, and few auditors in the PwC. In conclusion, The Satyam fraud served as a stark reminder of the importance of corporate governance and ethical leadership. It underscores the need for rigorous oversight and accountability measures to prevent such egregious misconduct to ever happen again. Thank you very much. So, for the whistleblower, who was the key to the end game towards the Satyam scandal, it all began with an anonymous whistleblower using the alias Jose Abraham, who bravely stepped forward to expose the fraudulent activities at Satyam Computer Service Limited, where he claimed to be a former managing director connecting to the World Bank. Through the email sent to Mr. Krishna Pelepu, an independent director of the company, on December 18, 2008, the whistleblower revealed damning information about Satyam financial mismanagement and regarding its tangible assets and current value. This email served as a catalyst sparking further inquiries and investigation into the company affairs. As the truth began to unravel, it became clear that Mr. Ramalinga Raju, the chairman of Satyam, has orchestrated a systematic campaign of deception. Fearing irregularity, scrutiny, and impending intervention from bodies such as SEBI and the SEC, Raju convened meetings with the key figures within the company to devise plans to conceal the fraud as his last attempt to save his company and also his position as the chairman. However, Raju's efforts to cover up his wrongdoing were in vain. Ultimately, the weight of his deception became too heavy to bear, and he made a shocking admission. He confessed to years of financial manipulation, acknowledging that his actions had brought Satyam perilously close to collapse. In the aftermath of Raju's resignation, the true extent of the fraud was revealed. Satyam reported cash and bank account balance were found to be exaggerated by staggering 50, 50 million, shedding light on the magnitude of the deception. The whistleblower played an important role in bringing Satyam fraud to light. Their courage in stepping forward and supplying critical information sparked further inquiries and ultimately led to Raju confession. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi. So my name is Muhammad Aziz Shazwan bin Zulkifli, and now I will proceed to my part, which is the consequences, effect, penalty imposed for they have 5 things. The first one is auditors, the companies, the board of director, the shareholder, and the any other relevant party. So I will start for the auditor first. When issued a prior regarding Satyam financial records, the Indian branch of PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is PwC, faced a 6 million fine imposed by a regulatory body known as the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission (SEC). In 2018, the Security and Exchange Board of Indian SEBI, known as SEBI, banned PwC from auditing major companies in India for 2 years. SEBI claimed that PwC was implicated with the key individuals behind the Satyam case and failed to adhere to auditing regulation. SEBI also instructed PwC to return over 12,000 rupiah called that the wrongly earned. PwC announced their intention to challenge this decision, and over the time PwC has recovered and they have been more emphasizing transparency. So accountability and high quality service to regain client will be confidence.
Okay, here are the consequences that are faced by Satyam because of they do the fraud. So the point is Satyam services are facing several consequences the fraud led to the company's collapse, and it was eventually acquired by Tech Mahindra. So the Satyam reputation was tarnished, leading to the loss of trust among the client, shareholder, and employees. Satyam Computer Service also faced legal proceeding and regulatory action against the company, result in fines, penalty, and settlements. The value of Satyam share fell to the 11.50 rupees on January uh, 10, 2009, is the lowest since March 1998. So that is the effect to the Satyam computer.
Okay, for the third point, which is the board of director. After the scandal, companies improved their internal controls and transparency in response to heightened scrutiny. They focused on clearer financial reporting, stronger security measures, and independent oversight to rebuild trust. Relying more on reputable auditors, they prioritize open communication with investors and regulators. The incident led to stricter regulations, reinforcing ethical practice, and also creating a more resilient and transparent financial system despite initial challenges. Okay, now so I will proceed to the next part, which is for the stakeholder. Uh, the Satyam scam deeply hurt shareholders, causing hard financial loss and shaking trust in the market. So, shareholder lost about 2.82 billion as the company's stock crashed, impacting their saving and confidence. This damaged investor interest in Indian business, so leading to inflation and long-term debt. About corporate governance, recovery was limited, with only small return despite trials and asset sale. The scam's aftermath left emotional distress and financial hardship, affecting retirement and financial obligation despite reforms, concerns legal about transparency and ethics. However, the incident also sparked positive change, pushing for tighter regulation and better investor protection. It highlights the need for due diligence and careful investment, encourage greater scrutiny of corporate practice, and boosting advocacy for shareholder rights. So, in some, what the scam brought, it means loss and trust issue. It also supports necessary reform and stronger focus on investor rights. So this is for the consequences, penalty, and improvement for the shareholder. So I will proceed with the next part. Okay, so for the last point, which is any other relevant parties, the parties that the first party is Indian government. It will impact on Indian economy, cause loss of investor confidence, emphasis on better corporate governance and regulatory framework. The second one is client disruption. It will face disruption and uncertainty in the project and service. The scandal raised doubts about the reliability and integrity of Satyam's work, impacting client trust and creating challenge in project transition. The last point is regulation investigation. U.S. Security and Exchange Commission (SEC), Serious Fraud Investigation Office (SFIO), and the Securities and Exchange Board of India India, SEBI, play a crucial role in investigating and pursuing legal action. So that's all my point. Thank you.
I will present about the fraud that happened in Satyam company, which is they have three items of the fraud, which is pressure, opportunities, and rationalization. So for the first point, pressure, financial demand and competition. Okay, um, the purpose that Satyam make a fraud in the financial statement is because the company has been a lot of competitors in the world. So to be secure, Raju Ramalingam um, has got an idea to manipulate the financial statement without detection, so that the company is quietly look good in the front of the investor. So Ramalingam Raju is too overconfident in his ability, may have led him to believe he could manipulate financial statement without detection, fueling the fraud. So after that, Raju has made a confession to the fraud may have been driven by the desire to avoid external and prevent hostile acquisition. So the second point is opportunity. So in Satyam company had weak internal control, allowing Raju and others to manipulate financial statement without the detection. So the company lacked transparency in financial reporting, providing opportunities for fraudulent activities. Raju Lamalingam, as a leadership of the company, style facilitated fraudulent scheme by minimizing resistance or challenge from other executives. So the last point is rationalization. Okay, Raju and others may have rationalized fraud as necessary to maintain the company's survival and prevent financial ruin. Those involved, those involved may have minimized the potential harm of their actions to justify their behavior and maintain the positive self-image. External factors like market condition were possibly used to shift blame and rationalize fraudulent behavior, detecting responsibility. So that's it for the fraud that happened in Satyam company.
For the conclusion, the accounting fraud perpetrated by the Satyam founder in 2009 is a proof that the science of the conduct is affected in great part by human avarice, ambition, and a passion for the power, money, fame, and glory. Satyam case highlight the significant corporate fraud arranged by its founder, Mr. Ramalinga Raju. The scandal not only exposed the lack of corporate governance and the ethical behavior at the Satyam, but they also have several consequences for investors, employees, and the stakeholders. The case demonstrates the importance of the strong auditing standard, solid internal controls, and the accountability at the level of management in preventing such a fraudulent operation happen again. For the opinion part, I will explain my team opinion. The first one is independent oversight. The board of directors played a key role with the independent director. A director was not an employee of the firm or organization where they serve on the board, providing varied perspective and acting as a check on management action. It's their responsibility to oversee the company effort and make sure its mission is fulfilled. The second one is ethical culture. Company that cultivate an ethical culture more likely to success than the company did not cultivate that. The third one is transparency culture. Transparent culture encouraging opponents in every aspect of an organization activities such as financial data, CEO pay, and possible conflict of interest, enabling shareholder and stakeholder to obtain true and precise information, promotes trust, and allow for well-informed decision making. For example, we can see the company in the Bursa Saham. The company is using a transparency culture in their company, so we can access their financial data in their website. Okay, that's all.
Okay, so for the wisdom of the case of Satyam and Ramalingam Raju is a underscores the danger of overlooking minor irregularities as they can lead to substantial dividing financial oversight responsibility among a team foster accountability and transparency, making it harder for fraudsters to conceal their action. So collaboration within a team enhance detection and anomalies, reducing the risk of fraud going unnoticed. To proactive approach strengthens the organization ability to prevent significant loss by addressing fraudulent activities promptly.